At the start of the play-in, we had 4 teams in the East and the West competing for the last 2 playoff spots in those conferences. Now, with the play-in being wrapped up, we know what teams got those last 4 spots and the tough reality of the teams that lost now have to face. Let's not waste any more time and dive right in. The Warriors had a roller coaster of a season, with Draymond constantly being suspended because he can't keep his hands to himself, Clay being inconsistent, Andrew Wiggins falling off of a cliff, and Steve Kerr's weird lineup choices. They were also inconsistent as a team, which made them a play-in team where they didn't make it out of the play-in. The lesson we learned is the Warriors' days of contending are done. Steph Curry is still a top 10 player, but he's aging. Draymond and Clay are aging, and Clay is now a free agent. I imagine they bring him back on the right price. Wiggins is now officially on a bad contract, and there's no way for the Warriors to really get back to being serious contenders. I don't see the perfect player being available for trade anytime soon, and unless Kuminga takes a crazy leap, they don't have a young guy that can be the second option next to Steph right now. Don't be surprised when we look back after Steph retires that the Warriors wasted his last great years. Coming into the season, I thought the Hawks could shock everyone and be a top 5 seed in the East. Well, that didn't happen. Now, they did deal with injuries to Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, and Onyeka Okongwu at different times for large parts of the season. The lesson we learned with the Hawks is still clear though. They need to trade DeJounte Murray. Him and Trae Young can't coexist. According to PBPstats.com, when Trae Young and DeJounte Murray were playing together last year, they had a negative 0.33 net rating, and it got even worse this season. Some people believe they should trade both of them, which I disagree with. While the Hawks would be able to get a lot of assets in return for them, the chances of the Hawks drafting a player of Trae Young's caliber is very unlikely. They do have some good to solid young players. I like Jalen Johnson's game a lot and believe he has all-star potential. Onyeka Okongwu, I believe, can be a very good starting center. Vit Krejci has shown he can be a solid 3-and-D role player. I like Kobe Buffkin as well. The Hawks need to trade DeJounte and power the young guys I just mentioned and retool this roster around Trae Young. After another year of being mid, the Bulls lost in the play-in to nobody's surprise. The lesson we learned with the Bulls is they need to blow it up and fully commit to a rebuild. To be honest, they've been delaying the inevitable. A trio of Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic was never going to be a serious contender in the East, and it's been clear for the past 2 seasons. Instead of blowing it up this past offseason, they stayed delusional, hoping Lonzo Ball would come back this season, even when it was clear before this season he wasn't coming back. Instead of trading LaVine, DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, and Alex Caruso when they still had decent value, they didn't trade any of them. DeRozan is now a free agent, and if they re-sign him to a long-term deal, there should be riots in Chicago by Bulls fans. Zach LaVine has little to no trade value because he just had season-ending foot surgery and how large his contract is. Nikola Vucevic is on the decline and is under contract that is a overpay compared to the production he produces. Also, Alex Caruso's contract expires after next season, and as a byproduct, his trade value goes down. The Bulls need to finally blow it up this offseason, let Kobe White, who just had a massive breakout season, run the show and build through the draft. After being the NBA darlings last season, the Kings only got slightly worse, but since the Western Conference got deeper, they fell to the play-in, and they didn't make it out the play-in. Now, they didn't have Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk, so if they had them, things are probably different. The lesson we learned with them is they need Keegan Murray to take a big leap to be a legit contender. De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis are both all NBA level players, but I don't see them getting much better than they are right now. Keegan Murray had a good season, and he took a bigger defensive load guarding the other team's best wing player, which he was very solid at. If Keegan continues to improve defensively while adding some on-ball creation, then you add how good he is shooting from deep off the catch already, he can become the perfect third option the Kings need. I appreciate you watching this video. See you on the next one.